Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Shaun V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
Okay, everybody, this is Shaun V. Bradley and my man,
Mr. L.A. Williams.
Oh, you're the Billy D. Williams of this ish, brother. I want to have a Colt 45 and shut the fuck up. All right, so what's up? Talk to the people, man. Where we at?
Man, we are here. We're actually at the Dealer Synergy offices right now, and we just wanted to have a quick conversation concerning the events and things that we got coming up. We just excited, man. It's a whole lot of stuff happening. We wanted to update the world about.
All right, so cool. So let's start there. This is one of the few times that we're doing the podcast, just us two.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some amazing speakers and guest interviewees. Like I think we're up to over 3 New York Times bestselling authors. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Jolly, we had Shep Hyken,
Yep.
Well DeLong. And list some of your favorite interviewees that you've had, LA.
Oh man, it was definitely a pleasure working with David Blasingame. I don't know why I seem to like the Davids. I also had my man David Huffman on. Of course, the folks you just named, the New York Times bestsellers. But I think Michael West was amazing also, man. So it's been an amazing just run so far. We've been exciting. It's been real good.
All right. Well, listen, what's popping right now? We've got the IS-20G coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the main focus? Because I think that's what we're going to talk about today on the podcast, just the theme, but I want you to kick it off with us.
Before I get into that, I want to know nobody even gave me no feedback off of last week's podcast, the opener. Like I flipped the opener on them, Shaun, and I'm like, wait, did they like it? Did they not like it? What is the situation? I switched it from hip hop and we was doing some straight rock stuff. So, no, so it definitely is a whole lot of really good stuff happening as far as the Internet Sales 20 group and what we're going to talk about. I think on even today, if we got some live, because we're broadcasting also in the Millionaire Car Salesman group, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. So what I'll do is I'll also take some suggestions from the team on what they want to talk about. I know the folks love for me to talk about setting appointments and appointments showing up, but I also did a webinar that I wanted to bring to the Internet Sales 20 group because it was like I needed such an encore. It was crazy. We had over 250 some people that wanted to get in, and it was only 100 seats. And so now I might resurface that and bring some of that, plus some of the new information that we found over the last couple of months, and get that in at the Internet Sales 20 group.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Okay, so for me, I've been involved in a lot of different things, like starting with the whole aspect of CRM.
Mm-hmm.
There's one subject we talk about a little bit today. Another subject is about entrepreneurship and being proactive. See, what people don't realize is that this morning when I was driving to work, I saw in the group, a couple questions recently, like last couple of days, about, is this product work? Does that product work? And you know what I find a lot, man, in our group is I see a lot of people asking similar questions like, how can I, what are the best leads I could get? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? And here's what I wanted to say. There's a public service announcement.
Here we go.
Automotive sales professionals need to step up their game, because if you don't have your own website in 2019 going to 2020, what are you doing? Because if everybody heard of like water ice, like gelato and shit like that, there's a company called Rita Water Ice. Google it. If you go to ritawaterice.com, these people have an entire website for what? For Italian ices, for gelato. I mean, like, do you really need a freaking website for that? Apparently they think they do.
Yep.
But you know what I know you need a website for, but most people don't have, is your own personal salesperson's website. The thing, LA, let me speak for a second. Let me get off my chest, is that I get frustrated because I've been in the automotive industry for over 21 years. And when I first got into the automotive industry, there was a lot of real estate agents. And as soon as they graduated from real estate agent school, like Century 21 or Remax or whatever it is, they knew that they were responsible for themselves. They knew that they had to market, brand, advertise. And in our industry, I talked to Corey Mosley about this, CSP, a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, that in our industry, it's almost like it's a dirty thing to tell salespeople, hey, do you have your own website? No, why should I? Do you invest in your own training? No, why should I?
Mm-hmm.
Well, simple. If you want the shit that the average person doesn't have, you need to level up. LA, talk to them. What's your thoughts on that?
That's absolutely the case. And I just think it's the difference between having the employee mindset and the business owner mindset, right? Anyone who's familiar, and you guys know that I'm a big book reader. If you're familiar with the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, it talks about it, right? There's 4 ways to earn income. Either you can make it as a basic employee, right? Where you trade time for money, right? Or you can step up your game and you become basically self-employed and you can trade ideas for money. So self-employed people are like those barbers, doctors, lawyers, but even salespeople, right? People don't know that salespeople are self-employed. And then the crazy thing is the automotive industry does something even more special for you because they allow you to be an employee and self-employed at the same time, right? So you might get a draw, you might get a kind of a base from your dealership, but then at the same time, you can make as much as you can earn being self-employed. What can you create, right? And then you can also be a business owner. Now, business owners have another thought process, and this is where a lot of car salesmen that become millionaire car salesmen, they get this in their system because it's like, all right, cool, it's just me, but it might just be you, 30, 40, 50 cars. But then at some point in time, you got to hire you a secretary, right? So now it's not just up to you. Now it's you and your team that you've put together. So that's going to be the difference. When you're self-employed, it's just you, like you're a solopreneur, right? But when you become an entrepreneur, there's a team involved. And really you want to get to the point where it can operate without you, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Let me jump in that tag. I'm in this bitch. All right. So here's the thing that kind of trips me out is that when I do projections and forecasts, that I'm famous for my money mind map.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to people, I talk to young professionals, I talk to veterans, I talk to, old school, like dinosaurs and anything in between. And still, when I ask the question, how many cars you want to sell, they still have their bar lowered so low, whether it's like 12 cars, 15 cars, maybe even 20 cars. And I'm thinking they don't have a projection that includes marketing strategy, a digital strategy, a traditional strategy. They don't have, like what you just said, a strategy that has a secretary or a porter or an assistant or anything like that, because they can't take the stupid blinders of employeeism away. I mean, they can't think like an entrepreneur. They can't think like a hustler, and that really is limiting your opportunities. You first have to have the mindset that this is facts, is that in the automotive industry on the showroom floor, you could make as much money as you can earn. Now, just because your ass is broke, just because your ass only sells like 15, 18 cars, doesn't mean the whole industry is littered with shit like that, because it's not. There's people that are selling 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, and damn Skippy, 140 units a month on the showroom floor. Absolutely. Again, my man Ali Raider, shout out to Ali. If I had some Jamaican blood, blah, 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 that's some shots to Ali right there. He was representing the industry. I was dying to get on this mic today because there's so much bullshit in our industry with these blue genies. And don't get me wrong, like, Josh Tobin's cool people, much respect on the Blue Genie and King of Cars, or my man Tom Stuker with the cowboy and all that shit, but they're all hokey. Anytime you see a car dealership, it's either an expose like Barbara Walters chasing somebody down in front of a dealership, or it's some hokey crazy shit that's like gorillas and inflatable stuff. Right. But Ali represented, he was on ABC to tell the truth, basically as the world's most successful car salesman, and he brought honor to us. You know what I mean? Like, he was on a show called Tell the Truth, you know what I mean? And he was the star of the show. He wasn't the joke of the show, you know what I'm saying? So the automotive industry has changed. It's not a bunch of greasy, grimy people from Dirk Diggler, era, you know what I'm saying? That we are people, I said that, Dirk Diggler era. So what I'm saying is that we have professionals that are making 6, and I love it, 7 figures selling cars. But so if you were in an environment like that you have 7-figure potential, right? This ain't the 100,000-aire group. This is the Millionaire Car Salesman Group.
Absolutely.
Because I believe that we are all capable of earning that type of money. And even if you're never going to make $1 million a year, first of all, fact, Google this shit. Most millionaires in this country don't make $1 million or $2 million a year. They're making a lot less than that, but they're living in their means. They're not overspending, and they're investing into assets and resources that's going to benefit them, that acquire more value. And we'll get to that in a second. But it all starts with the mindset. Recognize where you're at, people. That's like being in the UFC. You get your one shot at UFC, and then you're in there, and then you get knocked out because you ain't paying attention where you're at. You people are all part of one of the greatest industries, period, automotive sales. Shit is like the wild, wild west. I mean, where can you just go in any part of this world in a career and just show up? You don't give a shit what you're tall, you're short, you're nice, you're mean, you're ugly, you're cute, you're an ex-convict, or you're from Beverly Hills. If you can't sell cars, they don't give a shit. If you can sell cars, you're a hero. Yep. And that's the mentality. If I have the opportunity of massive potential, I could make as much money as I can earn, then shit, where's the blueprint? Why am I going to try to figure this the fudge out? I want a blueprint. And there's blueprints all over here. We're going to go over a couple right now on this podcast, but all through Google, all through YouTube, all through these trainers, these speakers, these authors, all that information is right in front of you. And one of them is a cliche. We say so many times, folks, that car sales is like owning your own business. How much have you heard that shit before? But if you believe even a shred of a vowel in that phrase, then you need to start acting like it's your own business. And that means, LA, which is, I see you touching the mic, son, let me get in. Tag, you're in. I want you to talk about, again, creating that plan. How does somebody create a marketing strategy, and what does that look like, LA?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is this, because the truth of the matter is you can hear that, this is like owning your own business. You can hear that till you're blue in the face. But the truth is that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Right? When the student is ready, the teachers will appear. So the whole situation is you hear all that stuff, but you're still thinking, I need to go to work and make some money. And, you're still thinking employee. So as soon as you really make the decision that, number one, you want to do better, you want to get in the 50, 60, you want to get in the millionaires club, right? That's the first thing. Then secondly, that you're willing to do the work required. Right. And so many people got these ideas, like they talk about, middle class mindset, has pipe dreams, while the world class mindset has vision. Right. And so folks got these pipe dreams because they all talk in no action. Right. I want to do this. I want to do this. But every time somebody presents you with an opportunity, you're thinking of the problems, not the solutions. You're like, oh, but wait, but then I'm going to have to do something. And everybody whines. And so it's so crazy because, I make these voices and things like that, because that's really how I hear it whenever people bring up stuff, because they don't bring it up in a way like they really want a solution. They bring it up in a way like, oh, well, that cancels me out. Right. And people give up so quickly. So just actually less than a week ago, I turned 38 years old. And I said, what I learned over the last year is that most people just don't have any heart. Right. Most people just are in a situation where when it comes to them really going for something, they're not going to do it. Right. Shaun says all the time, how come people don't lift weights? Because they're freaking heavy. Right. And so, that's one of the major reasons why people aren't successful, is because and Grant talks about it on, he talks about the whole 10X mindset, right? Think that it's going to take 10 times more than what you expect it to take. But the problem is then you get a whole lot of people that punk out. Well, maybe it's not a problem. It might be a good thing, right? Because then it leaves open and opportunities for folks like you and me, Shaun, and the folks listening to this podcast and watching this webinar.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys a couple things straight out of the Shaun V. Bradley, repertoire. One of the things that I love, and this is like an old real estate type trick, it's I don't care if you've been in the business forever, but you've never done what I'm about to tell you, you're crazy. Okay. So check this out. If I were everybody here, and I talked about this before, but let me kind of slowly walk into it. Start with your circle of influence already. We all have either family, friends, neighbors, past coworkers, in different stuff, or if you got a part-time job, or if you're in a PTA, or if you're in a sports team, if you're in any of that stuff, what you need to be able to do is step one, create your own database. Okay, so again, that's step one is create your own database. How do you do that? Well, as you guys see right here, you take your smartphone and I would go right to my contacts. And you can export all of your contacts from your iPhone or your Android into a CSV file, which is like a spreadsheet. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is I would export all my contacts in my cell phone. Next, I would look at my email server. Like I use Gmail, but some people have AOL still, Yahoo, or whatever it is. Export all of your email contacts into a spreadsheet, a CSV file. And then certain social media, for example, you have like LinkedIn and certain, other social medias allows you to export your database. Now, all you've got to do is take each one of these spreadsheets and then basically consolidate that into one spreadsheet. Now, from here, there might be some duplicates, there might be some old data. So there's a couple different things that you can do. There are different companies out there, like they're the Uber of technology. So there's Fiverr, so that's Fiverr.com, or there's a company called Upworks. These companies, like for Uber rates, meaning that, on a per project basis, they could take that database and could dedupe it. Okay, that's one. Two, they could do an append, which means that they could update the records. Three, they could fill out the list, okay? And so that means if you've got, for example, in your contacts, like all the people that are on, let's just say the sports team or whatever it is. Let's say if you're part of like the high school football team or college or whatever it is, you could actually get lists that are created, not buying a list. You could pay somebody to create you a custom list. Okay. And so I can elaborate that in the future. So now, once I've got my cleaned, updated, appended personal database, it's not the dealership's. This is yours for being a human being. You heard of the carbon footprint? Well, I call it a social footprint. You understand me? Mm-hmm. I'm going to call it a social footprint because we are constantly leaving different touch points with human beings all over the place, wherever we meet them, digital business cards, personal business cards, Facebook friends, whatever. Now, once we have that database, you could look at different software. There's software like Constant Contact, like MailChimp or whatever. These are email platforms. Then my favorite, as you guys know, because I'm repping BombBomb, is the BombBomb. BombBomb is perfect, to be able to put these type of lists in. And what I like about BombBomb is that they're going to be able to, allow you to do video text messaging and video emailing, and even more than a Constant Contact or a MailChimp, there's that video email, video text messaging capabilities and trackability. But now,
aren't y'all doing a webinar coming up like on the 10th or something like that?
Yeah. We're doing a huge webinar with BombBomb on the 10th. So we're going to send a bunch of information out. I'm actually going to be doing this with Shaun, who's one of the executives. And so if you go to bombbomb.com/automotive sales industry, you'll see the relationship that we have. But yeah, LA on October, 10th?
Yeah, it's October 10th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to that in the show notes and in the show notes for next week too. So just if you listen to the podcast, just go ahead and click the link and make sure you get registered for the webinar. So it's going to be fire.
So follow me. So let's say now that you have the database, 1, 2, you've picked a platform, whether it is Constant Contact, BombBomb, or whatever. And once you have your database in there, follow what you can do. You could start to turn around and create a newsletter. There's like these free templates for newsletters that you could create, or even if it's an HTML blast, meaning it's an email blast. Now, if it's in plain text, you want to make it look pretty. So you could use Fiverr or you could use Upworks for graphics, for logos, for information, that stuff. But if you use something like BombBomb, you could use a video, like we're on a web camera right now. Mm-hmm. You could use that, or you could use your cell phone. But then what would you say? Well, remember, these are your freaking people, right? I'd start with my family and friends, and you could create subcategories of lists. Let's just say your list is of 600, 800 people or 100 people.
Yeah,
Okay.
they say the average person knows 1,100 people that they
There you go.
So
See what I'm saying, brother?
Yep.
So let's just use that. Let's just use 1,100 people between everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could have like your everything list that you could just send everybody, or you could segment. Segment is create sub lists. There could be a list that's just friends and family. You could have lists that are just community stuff and whatever. And now here's what I would do for the friends and family. I would basically turn around and speak to them like I'm talking to them directly, but instead of saying their name, they know who you are. You're a friend and family, so I could just start talking to them on if it's an email, or if it's a text message blast, or if it's even a video. It'd say something like this: listen, if you're listening to this message, that means you are a family or a friend. Well, where's the love? I sell cars. I've been in the automotive industry for like 10 years, and I haven't heard from you from a referral that you need a car or whatever. Or you could say, I'm brand new to the automotive industry. And again, family and friends, you've got the hookup. Listen, we all know that if I was in law enforcement, you'd be hitting me up for a PBA card. If I owned a bakery, you ask me some free cupcakes. Well, again, I work at an automotive dealership, so I can help you with buying any type of vehicle you're looking for, new or pre-owned. I can help you sell your car, even if you don't want to buy a car, you just want to sell your car. And I can help you with financing, and I can help you with information. And so do you see what I'm saying? Like, I would basically start to create a broadcast message that's going to be directly to my specific friends and family. Now, then for coworkers, I would maybe not be as lackadaisical or as informal, but the same type of message. It'll be a message that's specific to my, like, I'll be like, listen, we worked together in the past. I know that we're not working together right now, but boom, 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 boom. Now, so if you're sending email blasts out, or video email blasts out, or video text message blasts out, whether they're twice a month or a monthly basis is one thing. Now, that database that you have, folks, that database that you have, you can upload that into Facebook's ad manager. And so now what you could do is when you have your own personal database, now check this out. This is where it gets really awesome. If you have your own website, my daughter, Tianna, and you could use this, LA, put this into the notes, tgotyourkeys.com. She's got a build a brand website. You could put Facebook pixel code on there. So follow this logic. If I am going to first target my 1,100 people in my personal database, and anytime that they get the message, if they go to my website and then they go back onto social media, they'll be retargeted. Or if they just go to my website because I'm doing SEO, or I'm driving traffic, or I've got a billboard, or I hand people my business card, and even if they're not on social media, they go to my website first, they'll get the Facebook pixel code, off of there, and the Instagram pixel code. And so if they go to Facebook and Instagram, they'll have messages. Can you imagine having banner displays? You could have like banner ads or video ads. Can you imagine a video like you're one of my friends or family, and all of a sudden you're on Instagram, and I'm like, psst, what's up? I thought we were friends. I thought we were cool. I haven't heard from you in a minute. But just to remind you, I sell cars. I give free referrals. That means you should be sending me referrals because I'm your friend, I'm your family. But if that's not enough, I'll pay you money. So that would be hysterical to me, in my opinion, LA, if you can actually target people. And because you're not going to have a ton of people that are you're not going to have like tens of thousands of people or even 1,000 people in your personal family and friends network, it'll be so cheap, to be able to do the ad spends, on Facebook or Instagram. So let me recap this. I'm going to turn it over to LA to just get some love on this. So one is that we all have our own database. We just don't pay attention to what our social footprint is with everybody around us. So create your own database. I just explained to you how. Once you've got that database, you want to be able to put that database into a centralized location like a Constant Contact or MailChimp, or preferably, I say, like a BombBomb. Okay. And once you have that database together, then you can start targeting those people consistently every other week or monthly on a myriad of different things that you could talk to them about. But then also with that same database, you could upload that database into Facebook's ad manager, which would be Facebook and Instagram, advertising. You could also do LinkedIn advertising. You could also do, and so on and so forth, Google PPC. So there's so many things that you could do yourself. And everything I mentioned to you from start to finish is like under $1,000. It could be under like $500. To turn around and do the whole database consolidation is just your time. To get the list appended, probably like $100 to $200. to be able to get a constant contact or even a bomb at a video thing, you're talking about like less than $100 a month. So everything that I'm giving you guys as ideas is stupid cheap. LA, jump in and I got some more.
Yeah, I really think that the number one reason people don't do it though is because they're scared. Folks are just afraid.
They're lazy.
I promise you. Well, listen. I'm telling you. And that's really what it boils down to. But let's talk about the fear that people have, right?
Okay, what's the fear?
People say like, well, I don't want to, bother my friends and family. I don't want to, all my friends and family. I just kind of wanted to keep a natural relationship and things like that. Now, here's the thought process, right? Every time the whole thought thing is every time you don't do it, you're leaving it open for some stranger to come and do it, because that's what's happening. If you look in your friends and family inbox, right, they got all types of marketing messages. They got all types of stuff, right? My wife's aunt bought a product that we sell from somebody else, right? Well, how ridiculous is that, right? But because we ain't on our game, right? We're not constantly marketing to our friends and family. And her aunt is the kind of one that buy like everything. We got that one that just buy everything. So it's ridiculous. Every single time we don't market to our friends and family, we're just leaving it open for somebody to come in. And those people don't even have good intentions all the time. So I think instead of being afraid to market to our friends and family, like we're going to damage some relationship, the whole thought process is if you know you're a good person and you have good intentions for those people, then you'd be doing a good thing. If anything, you should be afraid of what might happen to them if you're not involved. Goodness gracious, my mom, going to buy a car and not have me involved. Like I'm in the automotive industry. So you see what I'm saying? It's just, I'm leaving it open for somebody else to go.
Tag, I'm in. Okay. So a couple of things what LA just said is it's so true, because it's like saying like that you're a lifeguard, but you're afraid to get wet. You're afraid to swim. Like this doesn't make any sense. If you're in sales, you've got to be comfortable talking to everyone that you know and ask them the 3 simple questions that I live by. Are you in the market for a vehicle? Yes or no? If you're not, who do you know that's in the market for a vehicle? Why? Because we pay cash for referrals that buy cars from us that you recommend. And if they don't know anybody, then what kind of car are you driving? Why? Because we buy used cars. And depending on the condition of the vehicle it's in, I might be able to get you more for your vehicle than it's worth. So again, for me, you have to be able to be part of that conversation. And then I want to also build on this. Then you can't turn around and bitch and complain when your family and friends buy cars from other people. Because I see all over the internet, people getting mad, like, don't you hate it when your brother or your aunt or uncle buys a car from someone else? You got to ask yourself,
got to take responsibility.
What are you? Yes, take responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, what, LA, you know what I'm saying? Like, check this out, folks. I mean this with all love, but I'm gonna tell you guys a little joke. All right. So LA, I know you heard it before, but we haven't done this on the podcast. So check this out. LA and in Florida, my Uncle Joe and Aunt Chicky, right? Okay. So right next to them, these neighbors were crazy in Lehigh Acres. They were having this whole hurricane. And so this guy's name was Bob, right? This is just because there's always a Bob. And so Bob's watching TV, and all of a sudden it's like, ding, 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 ding. There was like a news flash. It was like, listen, there's going to be a flood. You need to evacuate. Bob turns around and goes, nah, I'm good. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. I shall be saved. All right. And so then the water starts coming. There's a knock at the door. So Bob opens the door, and it's the sheriff. And the sheriff says, excuse me, sir, there's a natural disaster coming here. It's called a flood. If you don't turn around and evacuate, you will drown. The guy said to the sheriff, listen, I appreciate that, sheriff, but I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. I shall be saved. Right. And so the guy turns around and closes the door and sits down. Now the water's getting up to the second floor. And so the sheriff's back this time, but he's in a motorboat, like a rowboat with a little motor in the back. And he's like, sir, you need to turn around and get out before you drown. And the guy said, nah, I'm good. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. I shall be saved. So now the water's up to the roof. Like the guy's on the roof. Now it's not the sheriff anymore. It's like Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner from the Coast Guard. Like literally, he's like down like on the helicopter. He's like, sir, you need to turn around and jump on this rope bridge before your ass drowns. Guy looks up to Kevin Costner. He's like, listen, Kevin, I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. I shall be saved. You know what happens, right, LA? He drowns.
Yeah.
Then he goes to heaven and he sees God and he's like, God, what happened? I'm a devout follower. I tithe, I pray, and you let me drown. God looked at him like, I know you're kidding, right? I sent you a news flash. I sent you a sheriff knocking on your door. I sent you a boat and I sent you a helicopter. What else can I do?
Right.
You get it, man. And so again, I love that little jokey joke, because there's so many things that whether it's the universe or God or just opportunity gives people, and they just don't pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then when shit doesn't happen, when they're not selling cars, or their family's not coming to them, or they're not leveraging all the people they know from all the activities, they wonder why. And then every day we have all these opportunities that come shooting at us every single day, but you need to meet them. You need to accept those like red flags or yellow flags and opportunity flags and do something with them. LA, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, like I said, people have their reasons, but the bottom line is, like you said, it's just, not grabbing on the signals, right? The one thing they say that you will remain poor, spell poor, Poor, if it's pass over opportunity repeatedly, right? And that's what happens. Like, we keep getting multiple opportunities and we keep passing over them, and that's what keeps us poor. So, when you get in the mindset that you really want to become wealthy, and, I know we're kind of preaching to the choir because we're talking to folks who really want it. But again, it has to be a constant reminder, right? So again, I know we're talking about it. You've heard we'll be up to number 36 podcasts and stuff like that. It's like, at what point in time, because you could already be doing something. And if that's the case, we're super proud. We're super excited that we made a difference in your life. But if you're still on the sidelines, man, you got to jump in. Right. Shaun talks about all the time that you can't win a game if you're not playing. Right. Talk about the lottery situation, Shaun.
Yeah, no, you got to be in it to win it. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing, is that, like, and what's crazy is that with the lottery, though, you have to buy a $1 ticket.
Mm-hmm.
With success, you don't even need to buy anything first. You need to sell yourself that you can be successful.
That's it.
And that's where it starts at. So now let's go in a little bit deeper into this. So,
and really, let's talk about this real quick, because what happens is folks get distracted, right? That we're constantly distracted, and we do it to ourselves. We're watching TV, we're doing all the things that don't lend anything to our success. We're not reading books. We're not listening to podcasts. We're not, and even if we aren't putting a whole lot of energy into it, right? It's like, okay, I might listen to that while I'm driving, but when I get home, I'm watching this, or, I'm doing that. Man, we got to really you got to put a lot of effort. Listen, it's only 86,400 seconds in a day. Once they're gone, they are gone. Right. So you really do it's just like getting a rocket ship, out into orbit. At the beginning, it's going to take a whole lot of effort, right? It takes 95% of a rocket ship's energy to just get it into orbit. And then once it's in orbit, you can get it around the world with a box fan. Right. So it just takes so much energy. And folks, again, like I said, it's the heavy weights and everything like that. Folks don't want to do it. But if they realized, if they only knew, right, if they just put in the work, just go ahead and do it, just get it out the way, man, I'm telling you, success is just like.
LA, I agree with you. I'm going to flip to a screen capture here. And so I'm going to, like, my daughter, Tianna, who's on the showroom floor. She's young. She's 20 years old. But, she's active on social media. So, like all this warm and fuzzies is great. But I want to be able to give people tactical, tangible things that they could get from this podcast and go right there. So we already talked about creating your own personal database.
That was a great, just something for people to do. And go ahead and do it, people. Don't wait. Don't do it tomorrow. Like, do it ASAP.
Absolutely. So what I'm showing them now is Tianna's personal Facebook page right here as a sales consultant. Again, if you take a look, she's got the professional, header for her Facebook. She's got the professional profile picture. But if you go through this, her Facebook is, it's personal, but it's almost like a megaphone, or like a positive propaganda engine, And so what she's got on here is discounts on your car insurance. She's writing blog posts from her own website. So watch, when you click right here, discounts on your car insurance, when I click it, it's not just a blog post. It actually backlinks me to Tianna's personal, website, which is tgotyourkeys.com. And then it basically is all about her. It's like, text me, email me, what's my car worth? It lands them right on her personal website. This is really important that we talked about before. I really believe that every salesperson should have their own website. Why? Because this is like your 24/7 commercial on you. If you want to be able to help people buy a car, if they want to sell a car, their vehicle, if they need help with financing, etc. So if you look at this, her website is designed to focus on we buy used cars right there. Whether you trade or sell in your vehicle, you'll get top dollar for your trade. Bad credit, no problem. But then it also goes deeper. I can help you get you approved, but I can also help you establish or rebuild your credit. You know what I mean? So she's not just creating like little like slides. She's trying to go into it. Instead of saying, hey, let me just give you a referral fee, she's like, if you refer somebody to me and I sell them a car, I will pay you $250 to $300. She further goes down and says, would you like to make an extra $7,200 of personal income? All you have to do is just refer 2 people to me per month. She's inferring that that's all that it takes to make that money is just referring to people. Then she articulates, that she's involved in the community. Everything from, Help Because You Can, suicide prevention, the Salvation Army, Opportunity House, Angel Tree, the LGBT Center in Reading, the Night Run and the Humane Society and everything else. So her entire website is a positive propaganda mechanism that's going to be able to articulate what she does. What is her value package proposition? Why should somebody give her the opportunity to earn, their business or her business? You know what I mean? Like be able to support them and be able to help them through their buying shopping cycle. The whole entire website is designed to convert opportunities. And then what she does with social media, LA, is organically she's posting everything from her amazing online reviews from her people, testimonials that she has from her people. And then like this one I'm showing you right here, this is from September 20th. This is just a couple days ago. So it says, thank you so much, for coming in, Sabrina, and for choosing Savage 61. I love working with you. See you for my next haircut. Okay, T got your keys, Savage 61. And then when you go here, you click it, it backlinks to Tianna's client recommendation page on her own website, and it's a full recommendation that's here. And then on the right side is her customer reviews, etc. I mean, like this is what she does constantly. Again, it's a combination between social media, her websites, her blog post. And is she still using the dealership stuff? Yeah, I'll be honest with you. She's brand new. This is only her 4th or 5th month on the showroom floor. So she still needs to depend on fresh ups and, on B-backs and what the dealership provides. She gets 0 phone ups and she gets 0 internet ups. But let me transition this, LA, okay?
Well, I got a question for you, because here's the thing. This is not the first time you've talked about Tianna on the podcast. She's actually starred on the podcast, as a guest star with us. And so let me ask you, are you just like showing this stuff off because you a proud dad and you just want, Tianna to get out there? Or what's the real purpose? Because this is what the fools think. The fools you always talk about Tianna. So let's break it down to them.
Because I'm using her as a living example of what to do. And I'll be very honest with you. She's not doing everything right, and so I'm going to be critical. She's not perfect. She works, she follows this. But here's a young woman, right? She's 20 years old, but she started selling cars when she was 19, and then 3 weeks later, she turned 20. And you got to realize, though, that she was in college for a year and a half full time, for forensic science, like CSI stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have a young woman that was working, part-time, like in a restaurant as a fry cook, like true story. And she was only making like $800 a month. And so all of a sudden, she's got success. And then, she's not really maximizing to this fullest. Think about it. Like, in all fairness, a young woman or young person, period, that goes from making $800 in a month to making $7,500 in a month a couple months later, that's freaking like like, it's so
Absolutely.
gonna be perfect, right? When things really,
Right.
really right. And I don't mind talking about the things that she's not doing right, so you all could avoid those things. But I definitely want to be able to show you. And I've never seen any salesperson that has a website that's built like hers, and that's not their fault. The fact is that most salespeople don't have multimillionaire parents that are in the automotive industry that own a digital
Right.
marketing
Now, we're
company.
not going to
So,
allow them to use that as an excuse.
I know,
Let me
no,
say
but
that
what
right
I'm trying
now.
to say though is that, again, the reason why you asked me a question, why do I show this? Because this is exactly what I would do. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I show this.
And I want to say this what he's saying. Let me, because I specialize in speaking Shaun, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all what he really saying, right? So here's the situation, guys. That's what he would do. That's what he's having his daughter do, but that's what he's recommending you do. You
Yes.
go out and get it done. Don't make any excuses. Don't try to find a reason why you can't do it. Find the reasons why you can do it, because I promise you, no matter what you listen, what if you say you can or you say you can't, either way, you're right. So the bottom line is, listen, the reason he's showing you this is to give you some damn ideas, right? He's like, rip it off, like do something very similar to what it. Go ahead.
Let me say that. Yes. Look, how do you think I learned most of the stuff that I know and that I do? It's really simple. I've done research, like I literally have studied all the websites that I could find. I'm talking about like literally over 500 different individual websites, and most of them automotive people, from Wix, from WordPress, from Shopify, from professionally done, from Build a Brand, from, GoDaddy websites. I've looked at a ton of different websites and I'm analyzing for years and cataloging them. What do I like from an individual website and what's missing? And you got to remember, I've been doing automotive internet sales and automotive web development for 21 straight years. So I have an experience level, and that's how I built the psychology and the strategy for Tianna's website was based on what I would do for myself. And yes, to LA's point, translating Shaunism is that I want you guys to take all that you can and hijack it, or else I wouldn't put it in the group, or else I wouldn't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody says that, like, you've heard this phrase before, LA, right? Oh my God, it's a gift from God, or, oh, you're gifted, or you've got such a gift. Let me explain something to you. It's not a gift unless you could give it away. If you keep that shit, that is selfish, and that's not a gift. You know what I mean? That's a possession. That's something, in my mind, it's only a gift that I possess if I could give it away. That's just my own mentality and my family's mentality. So again, I don't try to covet information. Nobody could ever say to me, oh, you just give me a timeshare pitch until until we hire you. That's bullshit. I give people stupid amount of information, over information, and the people that hire me get even more information and get more resources. But I don't knowledge hoard. I don't knowledge covet. I try to give you as much information as possible. You know why, LA?
Why?
Because most people are going to do that shit anyway. Most people are lazy, complacent, lethargic, and they're not going to do it anyway. And so I'm not scared. I give it to them because I want to show them what to do. Because shit, I wish 21 years ago somebody was out there with this type of podcast, and I would have just ate that. Because I had to put myself, let me finish this, into web development training, search engine optimization academies, professional speaking from Toastmasters to the NSA, to Franklin Covey, to top grading, to skill pass seminars. I mean, I constantly did two things my entire career. I invested in myself professionally and personally, for personal development and for professional development. I basically had training that I invested in myself on how to speak, how to convey information, how to sell, how to close, how to, design websites, how to architect, all this stuff. And this goes to my point. And this is what Warren Buffett said. I mean, like, look, I don't quote a lot of people other than Covey, but do you know LA, there's all over the social media, like Warren Buffett said one of his best investments, you know what that was?
Tell us.
okay, was he invested, I think it was $100 in Dale Carnegie class school for himself. He said one of the best investments and one of the smartest things that Warren Buffett ever did was invest in himself, specifically signing up for that Dale Carnegie, class way back in the day. When you look at one of the richest human beings to have ever lived on this, planet ever, Warren Buffett, to say that one of his smartest things he ever did, one of the best things he ever did was invest in himself. Why am I going to try to follow some jerk on the internet that's like, Facebook frauding and renting their shit to live in a, one bedroom, whatever. They don't really walk that walk. And I'm going to base my livelihood on an Instagrammer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should follow people that have been proven in the field at different things. That's what I've done. And that's how I've been able to develop the financial security that I have. And I know that's what you've done too. You're an incredible student of the game. You read so much. How many books do you read? A month or a year, brother, and audiobooks included, obviously. But how much do you read and consume?
Well, and again, there's not a way to put a number on it, because people will lie and be like, I read a book a week. And I'm saying they lie because it's not true that they read the entire book. But what we do is we have a library. I have the library of a whole hundreds of books. And then what I do is I just open one. I won't say at random, but I might look through titles and things, and whatever is nudging me. See, I trust my intuition. So whatever's nudging at me and like, man, I do need to dive a little bit deeper into this, I'll open up the freaking book, right? So I didn't sleep at all last night, and so what else was there to do besides read? I mean, to me, that's like the best pastime, right? Because it has the greatest value for me. I've always found that to be the case. So listen, Shaun, I know we gotta go, man.
Hell no, we're going to stop, man.
No, we do.
I got 5 more minutes, man. I just wanted to say something here. We talked about a lot of great stuff. What I want to also say, though, and not enough people do this, is once you start getting that money, stop being hood rich. You know what I'm saying? And so I got to be honest, when I was young and stupid, like I turned and got rims on the Lexus and all sorts of stupid shit. But what you really got to do is really start to understand money. So there's a couple of really good books that I recommend personally, and I want to get your recommendations, LA, on this. I love Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I still think that's one of the best, most simple books to be able to understand money. And then the other one that I love is The Millionaire Next Door, because, that kind of changed my whole paradigm of thinking about money and how to spend money. So LA, I have that one question for you. Will give us one or two books that you recommend to understand money and how to be smart with money? What would you suggest?
Absolutely. So I'm definitely going to give you the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And if you want the audio book, don't get the new version, get the original version, because the way that it's read is absolutely amazing. So you want to go with that one. And the number one book for me of all time is called The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah.
George Samuel Clayson, right? It absolutely changed my life, especially if you're a person that can understand Bible reading and that type of, language. It's a phenomenal book. The other book that I'll give you that's not, one of Shaun's book is called The Magic Story. Right. So The Magic Story talks about, your higher self and how, we kind of got that double mind. People have, another voice in their head. It's like the whole conscious angel versus devil mindset type of thing. You got a +1 and a -1 self, and you got to learn to listen to that +1 self, because when you do, man, amazing things happen. So.
All right, so how can they hear what's going on? We're popping November 11th to the 13th is the Internet Sales 20 Group. We got 2 New York Times bestselling authors. We've got, Weldon Long, and we've got Shep Hyken. We've got Bradley, future billionaire. We got, L.A. Williams, a.k.a. the phone master. Karen Bradley, the time maximization expert. Tony Ann Fordette, the $1 billion girl. You got yours truly, Shaun B. Bradley, the Orange Tie guy. LA, what's popping at IS20G? Why should people turn around and make sure that they're attending this IS20G?
Not only because of the stars that you just laid out there, but just because of the people who you haven't heard, right? It's the dealers that are going to be there. It's the general managers that are going to be there. There's a lot of very, very successful people that are doing things that you want to do. And so they're already doing it. So it makes sense to go and rub elbows with them, sit down, have lunch, dinner with them, have breakfast with them, sit at their table, ask them questions, go to the VIP party with them, really build relationships relationships with them and get them to be able to, again, care about you. So that way, even after you leave the 20 group, now you got friends. See, one of the things about being in any industry is you got to have freaking friends, man. When I left Full Sail University, you know, it was cool that I met Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? It was cool that I was able to work with Beyonce at the House of Blues. Why? Because later on, years later, when it was time for her to record, you know, I'm one of the people that she had, because she didn't reach out to me personally, but she had her folks reach out to me, right? So that I could go to New York and work on one of her projects. I could, you know, when she saw me in the studio, it was like she knew who I was. She was comfortable with me, right? Those are the types of things that you want to have happening. I don't care if I'm in California and you're in New Jersey, or, you know, Boston or Philadelphia or Seattle or Florida. It doesn't matter. Or Texas, right? Houston, Texas. It doesn't matter. You want to make sure that you're in the environment where the winners are, right? Because again, environment is everything. So once you're around the environment of people, man, you're going to pick up on stuff that that we can't even promise you, right? It's the meeting after the meeting. That's the real meeting. That's what folks don't really know. So that's what I want to share with them.
Oh, hell yeah. I appreciate that, LA. All right, let's close this out. Got money to make.
Absolutely, guys. So listen, we're super excited. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening to the podcast. I didn't know if we had questions throughout, but man, we're definitely going to do a question and answer series. We might have to do one of those kind of late, because I know folks is, you know, trying to sell their cars and doing everything that they're doing. But make sure that you register for the webinar with Bomb. That's happening October 10th. Make sure you're at the Internet Sales 20 group. Go to internetsales20group.com right now and get registered. And other than that, man, thanks so much for being a millionaire car salesman. We'll talk to you later.
We out, people.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like it, you love it, you want more of it, then don't wait for the next money show. Just go to bradleyondemand.com and take your career to the next level.